Hello, this is Mike, NoStressMike.com. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking I was going to make a video about our garden. Didn't do much of a garden. We did flowers this year instead of vegetables, but that's not. What I want to talk about is being an American, a true American. And this is 4th of July, 2018. And I thought, well, this is a good appropriate time to even talk about this. And one of the things that makes me, as a true American, so happy and proud of being an American is the humanitarian aid that we do. One thing is, we're a rich nation. And I've said, I really believe the United States is my God's country. I don't know about other people, but my God really thinks highly about the United States of America. And that's because the main thing is morals is what sets us aside from all the other countries. I mean, I've been around a few countries, and the people may be moral, but governments are not. And the United States is set up by our Constitution, and I mentioned our Constitution makes perfect sense for someone that understands Christian values. And you don't have to be a Christian, but if you understand the values, then you can understand the moral obligation that we have as Americans. I've made videos talking about our moral obligations. And like I say, now I guess in Thailand, and I guess they got some people stranded in some cave, and the United States is sending some Navy SEALs or something over there to see about rescuing them. And it's things like that that makes me so proud of being an American. And like I say, when I go to all these countries, seldom am I here on 4th of July. Seldom. And the places that I go, I try to act like a good American. And, you always hear me talk about you need to act the part. And eventually you act it long enough, a little bit of it might rub off on you. And so, like I say, I try to put a good look on America. And it's because we are a prosperous, rich nation is why we're able to send help to people, to different countries and stuff like this, to give aid to different governments. And that's because the people in other countries, they're not the same as Americans. Like I say, we are strong individuals. We're not subjects of the state. We got unalienable rights as individuals. And that's what separates us from other nations or from other people. These other people, their rights are distributed to them, providing their good to their government, and which here our government works for us. And so that's why we're capable of sending so much help all over. And like I say, I've talked about, I'm kind of like a storm chaser. I go in after hurricanes and bad things, and I go in and help people. And always I find America, we are there in some fashion of some type. And because, like I say, we're moral people, and the government works for the moral people. And so that's why I can say things like that. And like I say, other nations recognize the fact that the United States is a moral country. Now, I'm not saying it's that obvious to them, but because, like I say, a lot of times our out of control government will do bad things. But like I say, there's always going to be good American people somewhere. I mean, I think that they're in just about every country that I know of, anyway. And you can tell Americans. I say I lived in Guatemala 14 years, and everybody watches a lot of these foreign tourists and stuff, and they can see Americans, because Americans, you can really tell, and that's because we are basically good people, good, generous people. And like I say, that's why most of the time we're welcomed. And like I say, for me, I'm getting a lot of situations, and it's hard to believe me being American will make a lot of difference on how I'm going to get through a situation. I've talked about our laws need to be constitutional, and they need to be moral. And if they don't fall under that, it's not a real law. And what happens is they'll make political laws, regulations, and stuff like this as to control we, the people. But it's the strong morals of we, the people, that makes the United States, America, a respected country throughout the world. And especially now, these times, our young folk they're not educated properly. They don't understand how important it is. We've got a rich history of, like I say, being prosperous, being strong, and using humanitarian resources to help others. But I say, we've lost track of a lot of this. But you got to remember, it's the true Americans that know this and understand this. And you're just not born a true American. You have to have the desire. And that's what I talk about. Like my wife, she's from Guatemala. She's Chinese from Guatemala. My wife of 41 years. And when we got married, and she came to the United States to become an American. Not just come here, for handouts and all this stuff. No, we don't do that kind of stuff. It's not like that. Even my family that came from China, they don't come here looking for handouts. They come here because they wanted to become an American. They wanted to be self-sufficient. They wanted to prosper. And they wanted to learn the American way. And that American way means we have to be able to help others. But we have to help ourselves before we can help others. This is what a lot of people tend to forget. People tend to get self-centered. They think of themselves. How about me? How about me? They don't think about how can I help others. And that's basically what I do. I travel all over the world mainly to help others. And I'm not the only one. There's a lot of Americans all over the world. And there's a lot of Americans here in the United States that do the same thing. Helping others is the trick to be a true American. This is Mike. No Stress Mike. NoStressMike.com.